Friday. Welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. On this week's episode, got a lot to talk about with Facebook. Facebook going all in with audio social or social audio, whatever we're calling it. It has to do with audio. So I'll tell you of the new features that Facebook will be launching this summer. Also, Twitter professional profiles. Professional? I thought I had a professional profile, but I'll tell you exactly what Twitter is launching or thinking about launching along the lines of businesses and their profiles on Twitter. Also today, gotta talk about Apple and Spotify. The podcast competition is heating up. Which other platforms will podcasters choose when it comes to monetization? I'll tell you more about that. And definitely gotta talk about, that infamous tweet, I can breathe, from Las Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis. Definitely gotta give my 2 cents on that. So stay tuned. There's more coming up next. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Welcome again to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. How is everybody doing? Let's get this music out of here. Let's fade that out real pretty like. Go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and get this show started. I am Alice Fuller, Principal Consultant at Sheer Social. Now, what in the world is Sheer Social? It's hard to say, I admit, for some. So Sheer Social is my social media marketing, training, and consulting business. I do teaching, I do consulting, I do training, and yeah, I do some social media management as well, but not as much as I used to. So I try as much to stick to the training and consulting, but yes, I do some social media management as well. What is the social media scene? Now, the social media scene is where every week, every Friday, usually at noon, I say usually because I've been late a couple of times this week or this month, but I'm working on it. But every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I come on and sometimes I invite some friends and we talk about what is going on in the world of social media as it relates to how you most often use it for business and for some fun. And sometimes I add a little entertainment flavor to it as well. So welcome to the social media scene. If you are new, hey, how you doing? Thank you. If you come every week, thank you. Appreciate you. If you're watching the restream, I definitely appreciate you as well. So go ahead. Y'all know what to do next. Go ahead and do me this solid. Share this stream with friends and frenemies. Your frenemies too. In those places and spaces, social media conversations are going on, especially in those places and spaces you have those friends and associates that think they know every blessed thing about social media, but their information is a little outdated. Yeah, there's always that one or two. Yeah, so go ahead, share that with them. And while you are doing that, let me give you a rundown again of today's show. First, we got to talk about Facebook. What is Facebook doing in the world of social audio? I think that's what we're going to officially call it now. Social media, audio platforms, social audio. Yes. So Facebook isn't about to let everybody have the fun in this new era of social audio. And Facebook has announced, you know what, we got some features coming. We got some stuff coming that might rival Clubhouse, just might. But I'll tell you what I mean in just a second. Also today, we got to talk about Spotify and Apple. Speaking of sound and audio, podcasters. It's a good time to be a podcaster because these two platforms are doing the most in trying to get you either to come to their platform or to stay right where you are with different monetization models. And I'll tell you what those models are in just a second. Also today, gotta talk about Twitter business profiles or professional profiles as they're calling them. I know you think, you know what? I thought my profile as a business was pretty high. I've been working with it. Every now and again I update it on Twitter. I I think it works fine. Why do we need business profiles for Twitter? Well, I don't actually know exactly why Twitter felt this was necessary, but I will show you what they are planning or what they are testing to give businesses on their platform and helping you better promote yourself as a business, not just as an individual, but as a business. And today, definitely got to give you my 2 cents, and it might be all that's worth to some of you, on this whole controversy around the Mark Davis, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, tweet that he posted after the Chauvin trial. Yes, there's a lot of there was and probably still is a lot of discussion about that, and yeah, I got my 2 cents to add to it. So that's the breakdown for this day. Let's go ahead and get started. First, I got officially started. We don't start a production without the clapboard. There we go. Bam! It's official. We can start. All right, so let's get started with Facebook. But before I do that, I don't want to make the same mistake I made earlier today. So let's go ahead and do a little check first. Let me check to make sure I can be seen and heard right quick. I know I can be heard, but let me make sure I am streaming everywhere I said I would be. That's first and foremost. Let's do that. Let's knock that out first. This is what happens when you are doing things solo. I'm accustomed to it, but at the same rate. Time to get a crew. Yeah, we're here. Okay, that's right. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So, Facebook. Let's go ahead and jump in on what in the world is going on with Facebook. Well, when it comes to Facebook, here's the news for this week. You got new audio tools. I've been telling you for the longest, well, at least for the last month or so, Facebook is going to create a Clubhouse clone. We knew that already. That is not news to anyone really in this social media space. We knew that was coming. They're calling it live audio rooms. I told you before, Facebook already has a tool called Rooms. We know that because you can create your own little intimate rooms through your profile or through Messenger. And just think of having your little room with no audio. That's pretty much it. No audio. That's I hate to say that, it's not more imaginative than that, but it's not. So at the end of the day, live audio rooms is Facebook's answer to Clubhouse. Okay. That'll be available this summer. But here's the thing. The live audio rooms will have a tipping system called stars integrated. So you can tip your favorite, host of the room or content creator, which is good. Or two, let's say it's a nonprofit that's hosting a live audio room. Okay, fine. You can still give your donation through this tipping system that Facebook is going to add. So Facebook says too, they're going to add more monetization tools a little later on. But to start, they're going to start with these stars. The other thing too that a lot of us will probably like is Facebook is going to give us the ability to monetize one single room for purchase. So say you want to do a special event in a live audio room and you want to charge, I don't know, $10 or whatever to attend. You will be able to do that. If you don't want to charge for a one-time event, you can charge subscriptions. Subscription, subscription, subscription. That is the marketing tool of the day, seemingly across many different genres, many different platforms. So, big ups to Facebook with live audio rooms and providing monetization. That's going to be key for a lot of people and wooing people from Clubhouse to Facebook. But I think a lot of people are just going to stick to Clubhouse in all honesty because they like it. A lot of people love it. But anyway, we'll see. Here's the other thing that will separate it from Clubhouse. The fact that you will be able to record your conversations. You'll be able to record your conversations and distribute those conversations. So even if you're charging for it, that's cool. That's great. But you will also be able to charge for a subscription, charge for a one time event, have a recording. And at the end of the day, you will be able to seemingly make some money as a content creator. But Facebook says, you know what? We understand there's a lot of competition. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create an audio creator fund, an audio creator fund, basically to support the up and coming audio creators. Okay, now here's the thing. I don't have in my research, I don't have any information on how to apply for that yet. This is so new. I suspect in the weeks to come, we'll get more information on how you can get in on this creator fund, because each of the platforms right now is trying to figure out the monetization piece. Clubhouse has announced one already, but only 20 people was going to get into that one. They also did an integration with what is it called? Stripe. So if you want to charge for your rooms on Clubhouse, you can do that. Cool. Now, here's the other thing that Facebook is doing that you might find very interesting. Something called sound bites. Sound bites. This little feature will allow you to create and share short form audio clips along with some graphics, make it look funky kind of thing. The same thing we kind of do when we're creating audiograms. If you think about audiograms and you've got colors, sometimes you might have an animated graphic, you've got a waveform. So think of it like that with these sound bites. And you'll be able to promote these sound bites in the news feed, which is cool. So let me share with you right now what that might look like. So we're going to go over here to the Facebook blog here. And let me scroll down a bit so you can get an idea of what these things are going to look like. So let's see if this thing still works. Does this work? Okay, yes, that works. So as you can see here, these are the sound bites. I almost called them audiograms, but that wouldn't be correct. Okay. And you've got this one here. One looks like just a waveform, which is cool. You can record. And then this looks like it has a background, all these little graphics, things of that nature. And as you can see, people can engage with it. They can share it. They can bookmark it. They can like it. Cool beans. Real nice, real nice, real nice, real nice. So that is what Facebook has on deck for the summer. For the summer. Basically, just in a month or two. Not long at all. So you don't have this now. So a lot of you don't even bother to look for it quite yet. It definitely is coming. Now, the third thing that Facebook is also doing is talking about an integration with Spotify. Seems like they did that one time before, some years ago. But it's so long ago now, I can't even think what it was. Somehow you could share your Spotify, what you were listening to on Spotify to Facebook. But that was so long ago. So don't quote me on that. But when it comes down to what they're going to do in the summer, basically you will be able to listen to your Spotify music right or your podcast right in the news feed. You will not have to leave Facebook at all, because Facebook don't want you to leave. Of course they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay there all day, because the more you do, the more data they collect. I'm not saying Facebook doesn't do anything for the people that doesn't benefit it. I'm just saying Facebook doesn't do anything for the people that doesn't benefit it. So at the end of the day, like I said, you'll be able to stream music and podcast right there in the feed, which is cool. This is good. This is good. Now I'm going to show you an example of this here. And it looks pretty much just like a regular post, in my opinion. Nothing too spectacular, really. But let me bring that down a little bit. As you can see here, Wild Till number 9. And as you can see there, new release, podcast right there in the feed, popular episodes. Boom, bam, boom. There you have it. That's pretty cool. You know what's kind of interesting too, because if I remember correctly, did not Facebook some time ago, this is years ago too, I believe Facebook tried some element of this before where you could do an audio clip or something within the news feed. That was over 5 or 6 years ago. So this isn't necessarily new, but a revamping of something that Facebook has tried before. So let's move on. So that's the Facebook news of the day. Yay. So let me get my clapboard here so we can go on to the next thing. And let's see, can I get it to work? There we go. And bam! Let's move on. So we're talking about sound, we're talking about podcasts. Let's talk about how Apple and Spotify are heating up the podcast race. Okay, what I mean by race is everybody is trying to figure out who is going to get it. And what I mean who's going to get the right recipe of content creator, monetization, and content and just knock it out so that you become the go-to for podcasting. Apple podcasting has been hot for years, and we know that. When initially when we think of podcasts, we thought of Apple. We maybe down the line you might have thought of Stitcher, maybe Google, something or the other. But right now, Spotify is really, really, really trying to give Apple a run for its money, hands down. Okay, why do I say that? Simply because look at the money moves that Apple and especially Spotify have been making over the last couple of years. Just this week, Apple announced, hey, we understand that this podcast thing is heating up. We got to do something to keep the people and attract new people. So we're going to announce a new subscription feature coming to the podcast app in May. Ooh, my birthday month. So next month, May, they'll let podcasters publish, of course, their podcast, but also sell subscriptions to an individual show or a group of shows. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Now, the pricing will start at 49 cents per month. 49. Not 50, not 50, 49. I don't know why they just don't make it 50 cents. I mean, that one little penny, does it really make a difference? But nonetheless, another argument. That's a whole other argument. So 49 cent. 49 cent, that's not a lot of money. Here's the thing that's gonna bite you in the butt about that 49 cent. If you do decide to monetize with this new method with the Apple Podcast, Apple will reportedly take 30% of your subscription revenue in the first year you're on the platform. So for a whole year, they're going to take 30% of your subscription revenue. Damn, I know. And then after that, they'll collect 15. First year, 30% of your subscription revenue. After that first year, 15%. Yeah, Apple, I don't know. That's kind of hefty. Now, here's how Spotify responded to that. Spotify says, you know what? Okay, we see you, Apple. It's all right. We see you. We see exactly what you're doing. Here's what we're going to do. The Wall Street Journal says Spotify announced they're going to have a subscription feature too. However, they won't collect any revenue on the content it hosts. What? Let me read it again in slow for some of you. If you choose to podcast on or have your podcast hosted on Spotify and you want to have a subscription model, Spotify has told the world, hey, we won't charge you a thing. Come on over. The water's warm. Come on over. So you get to decide which way you want to go. Go to Apple, get 30% taken for the first year, and then after that first year, 15%, or go over to Spotify and just produce all the podcasts you want, set up your subscriptions, and have nothing taken out by Spotify. It's all you. All you, baby. It's all you. Yeah, that sounds too good to be true to me. But you know what? I'm sometimes I can be quite the cynic. But hey, you don't know till you know. So go ahead. Maybe if you don't have an exclusive contract with either one of them, you can put your podcast maybe on both to see which one works out for you. And whichever one is not, serving your purpose, you drop that one and keep the other one. But either way, you got options. That's the most important part. You got options. You got means of making some money. That's the most important part. And making money as a content creator. So big ups to Spotify. In fact, here's what I'm gonna do for you, Spotify. Take this. Take this right here. Yep, take all that. hmm Take all that. Okay. So that's pretty good with the Apple and Spotify monetization models. Everybody can make some money some way, somehow. All right. So let's move on to other news because we got more to discuss this here day. Now, let's move on to oops, I forgot to take my lower third out. So now we're going to talk about Twitter business profiles. Twitter business. Okay. I know as a business, you're probably thinking, I already have a pretty good looking profile on Twitter. What do I need to add to it? And how much work is it going to take with this new business profile? How much information is Twitter going to ask for? Because, sometimes we can be a little suspect of what exactly is going on. Well, at the end of the day, Twitter says, look, these professional profiles are a new tool that will allow businesses, nonprofits, publishers, and creators, anyone who uses Twitter for work, that would be me, that would include me, to display specific information about their business directly on their profile. We're starting with a small pool of businesses in the US, and then we'll give more accounts access to professional profiles in the coming months. Okay, so let's go over here to the Twitter. Let's go over here. Let's get the official word from Twitter. Let's go over here to the Twitter business profile. And there's a little example here, not much of one, but check this out. Here you go. Like our new look, we're launching an exciting test of a new profile type called professional profiles. Okay, says I already told you what it'll do. I just read that basically verbatim to you. It says all of this I just read to you, so there's no need to read that again. But as you can see here, it pretty much looks the same. You've got the your title. The verified check is good though. You want that as a business. You've still got the same link when you joined, your followers, how many people following you, yada yada yada. And then you've got an about section here. You got get directions and contact. Does this not just feel like an Instagram business profile? Is it just me? That's kind of what it feels and looks like to me. But at any rate, so that is just a little taste of what these professional profiles are going to potentially, and I stress potentially, look like. Because here's an old mock-up of one. Let's show you this. And it might have a little more or a little less than this by the time it reaches everybody. But check this out. You see here, you got your company. We saw that, the verification badge. Okay, cool. You get a business category. Although we were kind of using the hashtags to help along in that and to categorize our business. Doesn't say you still can't use them. I don't know where you're going to be able to put some hashtags in this, but welcome to the helpful home. Hey, Curtis. So you get a business badge type, potentially confirmed organization. Okay, cool. Which is good. You know what? That confirmed organization is really, really good because you don't want to be engaging with a profile that you think is a bona fide business, and it really is not. And you see there's an about section here potentially. You get another link to your website. You get a phone number, business information. Pretty good. Oh, you get store hours or your business hours. All of that is really, really good information. So I can really see a lot of brick and mortar using this, but I can also see a lot of potential for food trucks and things of that nature. When we can officially go outside and feel safe to do so, like we did, what, 2018? 2018, some parts of 2019. I think, yeah, this might be good, might be a good thing to have for certain businesses. Will most of us need this though? Probably not. And when I say most of us, let me rephrase that. I think a lot of us who are remote workers, we may or may not take advantage of this. But for certain people who are executives and business owners who have brick and mortar businesses, yeah, this might be a great way to give people more information to make sure you're not missing any opportunities for potential business. So big ups to Twitter on the testing of these new professional profiles. Big ups to you, Twitter. You know what, Twitter? You know what, Twitter? Here's what I'm going to do for you, because Twitter is my favorite go to social media platform. It is. So take that, Twitter, just because I like you. Take that. Okay, that's enough. All right. Now, here's the other thing, too. This rollout uh, doesn't necessarily, like I said before, it's not going to necessarily include everybody to start. Because sometimes I hate to tell you things are being tested, because I understand right from the jump you're not going to be involved in the test. But at the end of the day, if indeed this test goes well, and I think it just might, I don't know, give it a couple of months. This might be another something that Twitter will make available in probably the summer, June, July, maybe, quite quite possibly. All right. So here's something else I think might be interesting too. Now these are also markups too of potential features that you could get as a business if you indeed use these new professional profiles on Twitter. So I showed you the about section, which is fine. You might get a shop. So technically, you can literally have your products up there and sell your products through your Twitter profile. Potentially, you could sell your app or have people install your app or have a picture gallery of some sort. So this is not official. This is just what they're testing right now. So don't get too excited yet. Not yet. But this could be coming. And if indeed this is, as I've been saying for months now, every social media platform seemingly is looking for a way to not only monetize the platform for the content creator, but also provide a means of e-commerce through the social media platform. Facebook is doing it. No, no, of course Facebook is doing it. Every piece of Instagram seemingly is monetized one way or the other with buying with either ads or something you can click and buy a product. Okay, so YouTube has the YouTube merch shelf. You can basically sell your T-shirts, and a lot of you may not know, but you can now sell digital products on that digital table on your YouTube profile. But of course, that has to be approved. There's always that caveat. That's not available to everybody just right off the bat. You have to be approved for that feature. So a lot of social media platforms right now are trying to not only monetize for content creators to make money, but also create a way for them to be involved in e-commerce so that once again they can collect more data. Everything comes back to the data. All right. So that's it for the Twitter news for this here day. Big ups to Twitter. Twitter has really been busy trying new things. They gave us fleets. We got Twitter Spaces, and I just got Twitter Spaces 2 days ago. I'm feeling a little special about it. And I was just involved in my first Twitter Spaces conversation yesterday. Well, I should call it a discussion. And I did engage in conversation, but it was a discussion, and I don't even know how many people were in the room. But that brings me to this next thing I want to talk about before I wrap this show up. Oh, Twitter, Twitter. We knew. Once the Chauvin trial ended and the verdict was announced, guilty, 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 all guilty, 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 guilty. Yes, guilty. So we knew that people were going to, just naturally, that people were going to express their jubilation or their angst or anger or whatever it was. We knew people were going to go to their social media platform of choice and express something. It's a given. That's what we do now. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. And so let me go ahead before I even get into that. Here's the thing about this. Because we're gonna talk real talk in a minute. We're gonna talk about social media, but we're also gonna talk about real life situations here. At the end of the day, a lot of conversation around the Chauvin trial before, during, after. And I literally said that once the verdict was announced, I literally went over to my own Instagram and said, look here, people. I understand that, you're going to one way or the other express some sentiment around what has gone on or what's been going on in our neighborhoods across the country and even across the world in some instances. But here's the thing. Be mindful. Be mindful of what you say and how you say it. Because we're in a culture now where if you don't dot every I and cross every T, people can come at you all kinds of ways. It doesn't matter what your intent was. Doesn't matter. So here's what I'm talking about. I was right here. Let me go over here to my Instagram. Yep, that's me right there on the gram. Mm-hmm. Oh, turn on the sound. Now to express our joy, to express some other things too. But there are just as many people that are posting to social media right now too, which are just opposite because they are not happy about this particular verdict. So be real careful. Don't let people pull you into these debates, these conversations, these arguments via social media because you do not want to say something on social media in the heat of the moment that's going to get you in trouble. And it's real easy to do, especially right now. Okay, I posted that just maybe an hour or two after the Chauvin trial, the verdict came through. And, I was reading these tweets and things of that nature. And I was on Instagram reading what people were saying there. And I'm looking at the overall sentiment, as social media people, something we do. And then it just hit me. I was like, you know what? Some of y'all are saying some stuff that might get you fired. Right out the gate. Just right out the gate. And I know you're going to try to explain it. And it's not people are not going to care. You still may be fired. The next morning, I get up, I do my morning Twitter stroll for exercise. And lo and behold, Twitter is blowing up because a Mr. Mark Davis, some man I have never followed before, never really heard his name as it relates to professional sports. The platform is blowing up because of this one tweet. This one tweet this man sent. And for those of you that haven't seen it, let me just show it to you so you can make up your own minds. Here it is here. It simply says, I can breathe. I can breathe for 2021. I can breathe. All right, so there are a lot of replies. Let's look at a couple of them. Let's just look at what people have to say. So you got Hashmi here, who says, "Excuse me, what the beep?" Okay. Then we've got, what else we got here? We've got Paladin Amber saying, "This is how you should delete a tweet." Okay. Somebody named Z just says, communications department approved this, PR department approved. It went through all these channels. They can't believe that this was actually said. Me seeing all the criticism the Raiders are facing after this tweet. I shouldn't tweet. Delete this tweet. So you've got all these people talking about he should not have tweeted this. Okay. Now to look at this, you might say, well, a lot of people are seemingly offended by what has been said. And people really wanted him to take it down. They really thought it was, as she says here, disrespectful. Okay. Now here's Elvinson. Owner was inspired to tweet this by Floyd's brother. It was done in solidarity with the Floyd family and intended to mean that justice was served by yesterday's verdict. Understanding that the wording is tough in the context, but let's appreciate that it came from a good place. And yes, I hearted that because I agree 100% Okay, so let me get down here. There's one tweet here, if I can find it. This right here. Look at this. Now, you got all these people that are upset because Mark Davis, yes, the haircut is questionable, but I'm not going there. That's too easy. Okay. And here you have Floyd's brother who says, on behalf of our family, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the Las Vegas Raiders organization and its leadership for their support of our family and for our nation's ongoing pursuit of justice and equality for all. Okay, so here is the Floyd family representative, who is also a black man. He says, we ain't mad. What's the problem? We thank this dude. You know what? We extend our deepest gratitude. So if he's not mad, somebody explain to me why all these other people are mad. Please explain. You needn't or you need not. I get it. Because right now, in this marketing world that we are and in this sensitive time, I understand that people are looking at things to be mad at. And there's some things, yeah, we should be flat out mad about. But in my professional and personal opinion, and as a black female, all day, every day, and sometimes twice, and sometimes 3 times on the weekend, I am black all day, every day. My black card will forever be in good standing. Okay? I'm trying to figure out why so many non-black people are mad about this man's tweet, because it wasn't perfect. Didn't expect it to be. When I read it, I knew exactly what he meant. You know why? Because I said the same thing. The same thing. The same thing. So I know it's easy as marketers. We get all caught up in what people are saying and the sentiment. Oh, we see all this negativity. We see the articles. We see everybody telling this man, you need to take that down. It's offensive. It's this, it's that. But you know what? Did you ask everybody? Because what's offensive to you may not be what's offensive to me. Okay? So here's what I'm talking about. In case you didn't see all this drama. Here you go. Here you go. Look here. Says he meant no respect. Widely criticized indeed. So At first, people thought it was a social media manager that had posted it and had done something wrong. But no, Mark Davis said, you know what? I'm the one that put it up there. I'm responsible for it. I said what I said, and I'm not taking it down. And you seemingly, as much as y'all cry about it, you're not going to make me do it. If the Floyd family is cool with it, because what I said was inspired by something Floyd's brother said, why y'all mad? You're mad because I didn't give you all the context around it? Are you mad because I'm an old white dude expressing the fact that I feel better that a, a white cop was found guilty on all charges? So what are y'all really mad about? Are you mad because he said he could breathe and the next day another young black person was killed by a cop? Okay. So are you mad because somebody told you to be mad? Or are you genuinely mad? Are we at this point now when we're in social media where people have to tell us how to feel? Somebody has to tell you whether to be upset about something or not, and then we get this group think. Because I think in many instances, this is what this is. This is some sort of cancel culture, mad about something that overall a lot of black people aren't mad about. Let's be clear. As you're listening to these marketers and you're listening to these people who are pontificating about what black people should feel and how we should feel about this man's tweet, I don't know him from a can of paint. I had not seen his name. I don't even follow sports. But in that moment, I understood exactly what he meant by that tweet. Did I think, yeah, he could have said this better because people are going to come for him? Yeah, I figured that. But at the end of the day, big picture versus small picture. Am I mad that Nancy Pelosi said, you know what, George Floyd sacrificed his life? He didn't sacrifice his life was taken from him. That's a big difference. But I get what she was trying to go with that because that's the PR. And not to mention too, that's the history in this country we're in. America likes to desensitize things when it comes to race. They'll tell you that Martin Luther King sacrificed his life as opposed to the fact that he was murdered. Yes, I said it. I can do that. And I stand by that. I get why that's done. And I don't agree with it, but I know why it's done. So again, as we are going about our day and living and expressing ourselves on social media, two things. One, sometimes be careful what you say on social media because it can get you in trouble. That indeed is true. If you are a brand, and I know brands right now, you on one end, people are pulling you in one direction to say, you ought to say something. We want to know, you feel the way we feel. We want to know you the next Ben and Jerry or whatever. Okay. But then on the other hand, if you stay silent, you look like you don't care. So now you're stuck. But here's the thing. Don't feel pressured, companies, to say something that if you can't get it right the first time, just don't. Just don't. Here's the other thing. Stop relying on untrained social media managers who are not publicists. Yeah, I said it, and I will straighten my glasses and look right into this camera and say it again. Stop relying on social media managers who are not trained as bona fide communications, organizational communications specialists, trainers, leaders, or any. They are social media marketers, not social media publicists. There is a difference, big difference. So yesterday, as I was sitting in this chat, I didn't even know what the chat was about on Twitter Spaces. I just came in because I was invited by one. What was her name? Her name is Madeline. Hold on, let me get it right. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. Madeline Sklar. I think that's how you pronounce it. Madeline, if I'm saying your name wrong, please forgive. Okay, it is not my intention to say your name wrong at all. Um, I reached out to her because she just happened to roll up literally in my Twitter feed. She's using Twitter Spaces. She said she was going to do something with Twitter Spaces that day, and I wanted to test it. And she said, sure, I'm doing a conversation at 5 o'clock. I'm doing a Twitter Spaces discussion at 5. Here it is. And I joined. I didn't know it was about emotional intelligence. And with this gentleman here, Azad Yakatali, I think that's what his name is. Now, Azad and I, we do some of the same things. I don't wear sneakers, and I don't tweet about hoops. I wear sneakers, but you won't. The only time you find me in sneakers is when I'm chilling at the crib, most of the time, or I'm running errands. But still, at the end of the day, we do something similar. Probably some of the same things throughout the day. So he was a speaker, and there was another person that was a speaker. Now, here's the thing, people. If you're going to be in these spaces, these Twitter spaces, these clubhouse rooms, and you want to talk about race, and you want to talk about Black people specifically and what impacts Black people, here's what I advise you to do. Do your damnedest to get some Black people as speakers. Speakers. Not just listeners. Speakers. Why? Because one person of color can't speak for every other person of color. Let's just be clear on that. So as you're going about sharing these or creating these conversations about race and things of that nature via social media, understand that I can't speak for all Black people. I can speak for me. And yeah, I have a great understanding because I live it and breathe it every day as far as Black culture. But there are some Black people who do not agree with me, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a conversation that's going to include something that impacts Black people, specifically something like a tweet about George Floyd, do your damnedest to get a Black person on your little panel to speak, okay? Because once again, every person of color can't always speak for every person of color. Okay. Yes, we have shared experiences, but we also have different experiences as well. So that's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming. That's my TED Talk on this subject. Okay. I am not mad at all about Mark Davis's tweet. There are a lot of us who are not on social media who don't give two damns about his tweet because they're too busy living, trying to live. And it kind of irks me sometimes that people who don't live the experience can sit in some of these rooms and talk about how we should feel as a group of people. But they're not us, they're not for us, they're not by us, but they want to talk about and around us. So at the end of the day, find some people that you can talk to and talk with, not just at. Find some people you can talk to, talk with, not just at. And yes, we do want you to, have done some research before you get to us, but find some people that you can talk with to before you get into these rooms talking about people or, large numbers of people culturally, and you don't have anybody represented on the panel to speak who could potentially represent those people. All right. So that's it for me, people. It's Friday. Yay. It's Friday. Yay, yay, yay. It's please, 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 please. If you're going to get your COVID shot this weekend, be safe. Because, we're not totally out of these woods yet. I know we like to think so, but we are not. So please be careful as you go about your day, your weekend. And I'm saying that selfishly because I do want you to come back and watch the show next week. Okay? But please have a great weekend. If there is something you want me to talk about concerning social media, on the social media scene, you just shoot me a little comment or a DM. I will get to it as soon as possible. No, every show won't be about race for anybody that's asking. And if it is, it's okay. But I do try to stay on topic. But this particular topic, it just social media, marketing, messaging, Black, cultural, all of it. Hey Gail, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, yes. Happy weekend. Have a great weekend to you too. Have a weekend. There you go. I'm gonna put you on. There you go. Put you on blast right there. Hey Gail. Awesome. How you doing? All right. So everybody, again, that's a wrap. In fact, let me do this. It's not a wrap until we do this in production. Yep. Check the gate. Check the gate. It's a wrap. I know you're wondering what the hell does check the gate mean? All that really means is go back, look at what you shot. If it looks okay, everything is all right, then it's a wrap. That's all that really means. And so technically, it's a wrap, people. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.